So Jalaj, then we can proceed, right? I hope you have
Yeah.
completed.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So
So
I would like to ask a question. How many of you are aware with this PM Gati Shakti plan? Like anyone knows the basics? Okay, Pooja. Yes, you can speak a bit.
All right. From what I remember, the PM Gati Shakti model is a multi-modal connectivity scheme launched by the central government where they focus on trying to incorporate various ministries and stakeholders of infrastructure development under one umbrella. Um, Recently, around 100 lakh crores were allotted to this project, and it tries to work with multiple ministries, local infrastructure industrialists, etc., and bring them all together so that there's no overlapping of schemes, and this way any project undertaken will be completed in a much faster way.
thank you so much, Pooja. Yes. So one of the important thing which we want to tell is that today's webinar will be basically focusing on three important aspects. One is about the main introduction, and next it's going to be about its advantages, disadvantages, our views and solution. Like being the citizen, how this particular scheme is going to benefit us, and what are the ways in which we can tackle its demerits, and a form of small conclusion we'll be having. And each stage, we will be taking up your views. As such, it's going to truly benefit you guys. So Jalaj, shall we start with the introduction?
Yeah, I guess we should.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And you guys can break us at any point of time, okay? You can give out your input, your comments at any stage. It's totally fine. The floor is completely open for you guys.
You
Okay.
can also
So,
ask question on chat box or the link provided on above in presentation screen.
yes, wonderful. So now introducing myself, my name is Pavan SS. I'm the campus director from Christ University MCN Fellowship Group, Millennium Fellowship. So our main role of an MCN Millennium Fellowship is basically to implement the Sustainable Development Goals as per from the United Nations in a campus level, and how from the students level we can build up the civic responsibility. As such, we have been having this wonderful Millennium Fellowship, and in our MCN, right, we have 4 teams. One is about Swatch, Teach to Reach program, Udan, Ru, and we have social media and other documentation team. So the main essence of all this team is basically to implement SDG in the school, in the college level, and how we can support the community and the students. This is the main essence which we are trying to focus. And our entire webinar, right, the PM Gati Shakti scheme, we are going to focus on 3 important SDG goals. So just remember the points, 3 SDG goals. First one is about SDG 4, quality education, and SDG 8, that is about decent work and economic growth, and SDG 11, that is about sustainable cities and communities. So this is a small introduction from our side about what is MCN and aspect. So it's one of the beautiful organizations where you can also collaborate and work together for creating a massive change in the society. So that's the main reason as Millennium Fellowship, we have collaborated with Vyolvepaisa firm to create an awareness for you guys and how you guys can be very well aware about it. So that's the main essence of today's webinar. I hand it over to Jalaj.
Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's event. My name is Jalaj Jain and I'm CPO at Vyolvepaisa. So one of the best quotes that I have heard is, if you don't get serious about your money, you will never have serious money. And like, that's the best quote I can hear as well. So Vyolvepaisa is a platform working with an unparalleled and inimitable vision to make everyone well versed with the concepts of finance and become the epicenter of finance related solutions. People often find finance to be a complicated topic because of fear of losing money, right? Even if they know, it is hard to convince them that they know enough to start investing in better and better options. So basically, we are aiming at providing not only the financial knowledge to you, but we cover all the aspects, including efficient utilization of even your small amount of money and how to save yourself from frauds. In simple language, we make a product that helps people in managing their finance. Okay. So I would like to ask you some questions. So basically, everyone here are students, right? Well, most of them, not everyone. You can write in chat box. Okay, that's great. I can see lots of response. Okay, so first thing is, how do you all manage your finance? Like during student life, many of us don't think about it, but it is an important topic to think about, right? So how do you all manage your finance? You can either unmute yourself or write in chat box. Anything would work.
Can I go?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I have first time moved into a city, right? I used to stay in Chennai, and I moved into Bangalore to study in Christ, and I think that's when the first point of dealing with money on your own stepped in. I mean, even today, my dad reminds me as to, like, go home, just write down your expenses. Just, you don't have to tell me what you ate, but, like, give an account to yourself as to how much you spend in an average, so that, monthly, this is what you're spending, this is how you're going about a day, or, like, if you're spending too much, you can know. But me being me, I sometimes tend to forget. But I think this is. But then overall, I have have a sort of a system in my mind. I wouldn't really recommend someone to follow the system, but I keep a ratio about all the finance experience. I mean expenses. So since I stay in a PG, I have food available here. I have electricity available here. It's all included in the rent cost, so that's separate. But apart from that, I have like a weekly budget for myself, based on my overall money I get from my dad. So I think that's pretty much how I spend my finance, but I don't really account it. I think that's where my problem comes in. So I don't know how much am I spending for food, or how much am I spending for, say, some stationery item or something. But I do know that overall I spend is around, like, monthly is around 3,000. So yeah, not so
So you
great, but
manage.
this is how it is.
So you manage an Excel sheet or rough copy like that.
Yes, I think there's an app too. I don't use it personally, but a lot of my friends talk about it. But there's an app that you just have to, like, enter the details, and it manages your monthly expenses and everything.
That's
So
good.
yeah.
Wonderful, excellent. That's a very good habit, keeping a
Yeah.
tally.
Can I go next?
Yeah, sure. Samita, you
Yeah.
can.
So mine is a little different because I live with my parents. I live in Bangalore only. So I don't have like a weekly budget as such that I need to keep track on. But yeah, I also do have a bank account, and my parents do regularly put some money in that. I use it according to my own discretion. Like I don't have like a set budget for a month as such, because they're right here. So if I need extra, I can always ask them. That's not an issue. But yeah, even I am like, writing down where I'm spending my money. I'm keeping a track of how much is going where. And at the end of the month, I basically total out how much I've spent each month. I try my best to, like, conserve the amount I'm spending, but it's not a hard and fast rule that I need to do that. So I don't particularly consciously make an effort to do that. I just on my own try to cut on my expenses now and then. That's all.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Varna, you are
It's
raising your
great.
hand. Do you want to speak?
Yeah, one nice.
Just. Hmm.
Yeah, sure. So I
Yeah.
think this point on writing down your expenses is great because it's a good thing to practice, right? What has also worked for me living in a PG is to save first and then spend. I understand this may not work if you're like a working professional or if you have a lot of expenses, but as a student, I think it has worked for me. For example, if you have like let's say 15K to spend every month. So you take 5,000 and you keep it aside, and then you pretend that 10K is your actual budget, and you try to, work your way like using that limited budget. So at the end, you've saved 5K. So this is something that has worked for me.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Good, very good one. It's a good point. Very good. And somebody who does not keep track of any finance, you can just raise your hands. You don't need to unmute. You can raise your hands or just type in the chat box. Who don't keep
That's
any track?
absolutely clear. I also don't keep track that much.
Oh, okay. It's silent.
Okay.
Okay, nice. Okay. Only one. Oh, next. Remaining
I
all the
thought
few.
I treated matter to deal with my money. Oh, that's good.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you, Pooja.
so I can see that a lot of you are like into savings and all. So anyone of you like invest in stocks or other methods like crypto and all? Yes.
Daksha. Wonderful,
That's
Daksh.
okay. That's a nice approach.
Daksh, would you like to tell
Can you
something
think,
about it? Daksh, nice.
Daksha, would you like to discuss
Yeah,
about the
sure.
same?
So, like, I do earn through cryptos. It's not normal cryptos. It's a different platform. It's based in US, and
Hmm?
out of that money, whatever I earn over there, I buy some blue chip stocks. Like I have Tesla in my portfolio. I have, I guess, what was there? Sale, Steel Authority of India,
Hmm?
and I have Snapchat, which I just bought at a dip. And like I personally feel that savings are just idle. What we need is to channelize them into investments,
Yeah.
and only that money will grow. Otherwise, we will be robbed by inflation. So yeah, I maintain a good portfolio, and I also manage portfolios of my friends, families, and other relatives. So yeah.
Yeah. So I
That's
guess
amazing.
you use that method that the things you are using in your daily life, you should invest in those companies, right? Like you are investing in Snapchat and Tesla. So,
Yeah, like I have one of my friends in USA, so he invests on my behalf. I send him the money.
oh, that's great. Nice.
Okay. So Sakshi says that even she also do it, equity and F&O. Good. Samyukta, I have an account but haven't started. Okay, fine. No problem.
You
You have to
should.
start.
Yeah.
You should start. And it says never really got to understand it. Okay, don't worry. Yeah. Upcoming webinars we will do it.
Vyolvepaisa will
We'll
help.
collaborate. We will do it. Okay. Okay. So Jalas, we'll go to the next question.
Yeah. Now, without the
And
further
guys,
ado,
thank you all for participating. Okay, it's like the best title. We are already really confused who to give now because looking at
yeah,
all your
that would be
participation.
confusing at the end.
Okay, so now moving to the next question, guys, what do you think are the important essential elements for the development of a nation? For a nation to grow, what are the important essential elements? Very simple. Like I have a small, I just got this gift. Okay, it represents the jungle kingdom. So in order a jungle kingdom to progress, it requires huge amount of animals. It requires trees. It requires plants. It requires river, lake. Similar way, for a nation to grow, what do you think are the important essential elements? You guys can unmute or else you can also put in the chat box. Varna
Infrastructure,
says
quality of
infrastructure,
life,
quality,
right?
brilliant. Excellent. Uh,
Policy of social honesty.
Nikita
Perfect.
says policies for social order and stability. Excellent. Wonderful. That's true. That's very important. Naina says economic growth. Economic growth. Exactly. Primary, secondary, tertiary factor plays a very important role. Pooja says skilled workers and education. Perfect. Without skilled
Perfect.
workers and education, there will be a lack of any kind of progress for a nation. And Samyukta says citizens psychological satisfaction. Beautiful, Samyukta. Excellent.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
out
they
of
are
a
all
box
of you are
thinking, I
participating.
say.
Great.
Yeah.
Varna says, okay, strong institutions. Excellent. Wonderful. Pooja, technology. And Vibhu says, affordable healthcare. Wonderful, guys. Amazing. So that's really great. We got more than 8 to 9 responses. Okay, it's more than 10 responses. Great. Wonderful. And Pooja says, once again, political stability. Great. Nikita says also basic necessities to be alive. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Food, water.
Yeah.
Yes. That's true. That's true. Basic essentials. Excellent, guys. This is really amazing. Let's start with our topic that is about PM Gati Shakti scheme. So before starting, one line I would like to tell is that at the end of today's session, there should be one takeaway for you guys, and it should be a learning for you guys. So it's just not going to be like a lecture as like how your teachers do it. It's going to be making sure that as an individual, how the scheme is going to be benefited for you. That is going to be our primary objective as a lens, which will be focusing for you guys. Okay, so now starting with our PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. So as you all know, this was introduced by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi on October 13th. So the main reason of introducing this beautiful plan is that, as majority of you said about infrastructure, it could be about development aspect and all other things, or considering all these factors into one simple loophole, considering one simple bridge, it is very important that we must have very good infrastructure facilities and development in all means. So in order to reduce the logistical cost and to boost the economy was the main reason why this plan was introduced. I'll give a simple example, guys. As a person who worked in government sector with different ministries and different organizations, I can tell you that for example, if I am constructing a roadway, and once I'm completed constructing a road, after 2 months, a person who's in charge of waste management, he keep on drilling the road for the sewage management. And in the third week, there will be a person from electrical department. He'll come up and again drill up the road for electrical supply. So you can see that in one same road, 2 to 3 times, what happens? Again, there is a huge amount of drilling happens and that entire road system gets collapsed. So what can you see over here? There is lack of accountability and flexibility. So in order to overcome this factor, our government has introduced this PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, in which all the 16 ministries, they'll be tagged together. That means that if I am building up a road, Jalaj will immediately get notified. So in case if he wants to do anything in future, he will priorly communicate with me or on a together basis. For example, if I'm constructing road now, Jalaj will also be collaborating with me. He'll be telling this, if you do so and so, we are also planning to do base management, this one, along with the KSCB, electricity management in your particular area. So construct in that way. So it's going to be like a coordination among all the different ministries. So you can see that the logistical supply will be very high. As such, the boosting of the economy can be very excessively high. So that we'll be explaining in the later time. So now as a time, you can understand that it is going to overcome the factor of logistical problem and boost the economy. And it could be about, it is, as I said, about 16 ministries are going to be collaborated in one umbrella, as Pooja just pointed out. You can understand that all the initiatives, like we have Sagar Mala, we have Bharat Mala, we have Udan. Sagar Mala is in charge of waterways. Bharat Mala is in charge of road and highways, and Udan, as you know, it is in charge of waterways and inland ways. So any kind of infrastructure plan, when I am trying to introduce as a government, I will get a collaborative support from all of the factors. As such, for example, it could be an industrial development. It could be about any kind of development for boosting up the economy, could be very high. As majority of you know, right, for one of the training session for our MCN group, I said that we have central sector scheme and central sponsored scheme. So it is going to be a collaborative form between the center and the state government. Okay. So I hope this small intro, you guys are getting it. It's digesting it for you. If you have any comments or anything like that, you can pitch it at any point of time. And if you have any doubts, you can still ask us. Over to you, Jalaj.
Okay, so I guess you all know about what is an economic zone. You can just write yes and no in chat. Like, what are economic zones? Okay. Okay, so everyone is kind of aware. Okay, perfect. So I will still brief you out about what are economic zones. A special economic zone is an area in which business and trade laws are different from rest of the country. So why a country does this is because their aim is to include increasing in trade balance, employment, increased investment, job creation, and effective administration. Okay. So what you should know is that this master plan will also cover economic zones such as pharmaceutical clusters, textile clusters, defense corridors, industrial clusters, and one of the major part of the country, agricultural zones. So as we know that we are living in a technical era, right? And we have to move forward technology as well. So PM Gati Shakti plan will also leverage technology extensively, including spatial planning tools with ISRO imaginary. The master plan will usher in the seamless movements of good and people all across the country. PM Gati Shakti plan would also provide public and business committee information regarding the upcoming connectivity projects, other business hubs, industrial areas, and surrounding environments. See, okay, so I guess you all are well aware of what is PM Gati Shakti plan. So can you point out some of the advantages? You can either write in chat or just speak up.
What do you guys think about? What are the advantages?
What would be the basic advantages of this? Low overrun cost. Okay.
Excellent, Daksh. Wonderful, Daksh. Good. What do you think? What are the advantages if we implement this plan in a very successful? According to you, it could be there's no right or wrong answer. Just give up your views.
Yeah.
Daksh says improved connectivity. Good. Anybody else? Pooja says increased optimization. Beautiful. Samyukta says,
infrastructure development will help in globalization, of course. Economic growth, multiplier effect. That's
wonderful. Daksh says economic growth, multiplier effect. Wow. Sakshi says from working in sellouts to increase collaboration. Wonderful, guys. Amazing. Really great. I mean, like, your perception of understanding is really great.
Yeah.
So there's no point of me doing this webinar. Actually, you guys know most of the aspect, and your participation is good, very good. So now, focusing on few important advantages, which you guys have missed it out. As you all know, as Pooja said, or Daksh said, and Samyukta and other people said, the important aspect is about boosting the economy. It could be about once there is going to be, Pooja says, it is a comprehensive system that will help government prioritize projects. Very good. Excellent, Pooja. Wonderful. So the main aspect of introducing this particular PM Gati Shakti scheme, the biggest advantage is our economy is going to be boosted. As you all know, during COVID-19 time, what happened? Our entire economy is basically thrashed out. That means that it has been lowered in all the sectors. There is no kind of progress because we have been declined over very decline stages. So by introducing this PM Gati Shakti scheme, the biggest advantage is that our economy is going to grow up. And second advantage is employment generation. So many people have lost their job, right, during COVID-19 time. So I think I was taking a couple of training sessions, psychological aspects. So I just got a couple of people, okay, in the training session. Majority of the people are depressed because they have lost out their jobs. I think if they are trying to implement this PM Gati Shakti scheme, the employment generation is going to be boosted very high comparing to other stages. And the raw materials for consumption. The raw material for consumption was really declined during COVID-19 time. That means that nobody used to buy the raw materials, or the entire production sector used to have huge amount of loss. It has decreased up to 0.5%. And RBI and the National Institute of Policy, Finance and Policy Management have said that if we are trying to implement this plan, our GDP is going to be increased by 3.5%. And that's a very good thing, right? We can see that how our country is going to progress and how we as an individual is going to be getting benefited from huge amount of infrastructure development aspect. Okay. And next amount of advantage which some of you have pointed is about reducing the logistic cost. And I've already explained about it. And improving connectivity, and the networking system becomes very high in this plan. Okay. So networking system becomes very high. For example, if I, Jalaj, Daksh, Pooja, Samyukta, and if we are in charge of each ministries, if I am doing something, immediately Daksh will get notified. And if you are planning to do collaboratively something, there will be speedy process. One of the biggest problem in our country is about the permission lagging system. What is permission lagging system? Okay. So permission, okay, when I worked in government sector, okay, I can tell you one example.
Can I answer?
Yes,
Yes,
Sakshi.
of course.
So basically, it means that there's a lot of red tapeism and a lot of paperwork is there. For to get any approval, we need tons of papers to be circulated across a lot of ministries, and that involves a lot of time and energy.
Wonderful, Sakshi. Excellent. Wonderful. So she has said the right point. It's about huge amount of paperwork. Permission aspect becomes very high. When I was working in this government department, for example, if you want to take any permission from roadways, we have to wait for 6 months permission, 6 months approval time period. At that time, the people who bought up the plan only will be done off, and then we'll take out the project and go up with somewhere else. So this is the biggest problem in our country, permission system. It's like you have to ask permission from TC, district collector, then you have to go to ask for the electric department, then we have a water management authority, KSCB, Jal Bhavan, and it goes still round by round. At last, we'll be done with our entire system of permission granting process, right? We'll be really exhausted. So this thing can be overcome by the aspect of implementing the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. So this is one of the most important highlights which you guys need to keep up.
Okay, thank you, Pawan. So, you know what, we have been listening that India will soon become business capital of the world. Like from last 10 years, I'm listening the same thing. But how will that happen, right? So I think PM Gati Shakti plan will be helping us. So Gati Shakti foresees shaping India into business capital of the world. How? It will help in mapping existing and proposed connectivity projects, as someone mentioned. A comprehensive and integrated transport connectivity strategy will be considerably supported by Make in India. Make in India is going to support this project as well, and this project will also support Make in India. It should help achieve various objectives of Government of India, such as expanding the length of national highway network to 2 lakh kilometers, which would really increase our roadway connectivity, boosting trade by enhancing cargo handling capacity, and decreasing the turnaround time at Indian ports would be one of its major outcomes. And you know what? It will also look around to extend 4G connectivity to all the villages of the country, which would help everyone in one or another way. So, while there are many advantages and outcomes of PM Gati Shakti plan, but as we know, every rose has its thorn. So, we should not be blind to disadvantages also. So, Pawan will be speaking on major disadvantages or demerits of PM Gati Shakti plan. Pawan, you may continue.
So before I proceed, Daksh has put a message. What I think of Gati Shakti as a solution to the problem of information sharing between ministries and government departments at the center. It is a software element in the government's infrastructure project implementation. Excellent. Wonderful. That's a really amazing point. Good. So guys, now could you all tell me what would be the demerit if we try to implement this plan in a successful way? Like if we introduce this plan, what is going to be the demerit?
It's over ambitious.
It's over ambitious. Any of you guys Yeah, that says state
State
versus
versus
central. Yeah, Pooja and Samyukta is amazing. Okay. Samyukta says too much confusion over roots. Okay. Samyukta, yes, right? Because of closure of many routes. Okay. Very good, Samyukta. And anyone else, guys? Would you like to put out your comments? Varna says prioritizing of
prioritization of
each ministry. Yes.
right. Pooja, yeah, you can speak.
Yes, Pooja, you want to
Thank
unmute?
you. So there's this one point I wanted to share, but it was a little too long to type. So I feel the first thing you'd want to look at if government does want to implement Gati Shakti is how relevant and transparent are the existing economic numbers. On one side, we hear that employment and inflation reached a high time high, that people don't have any work. On the other side, Modi government claims things which are a little, I like to be politically correct, so I won't make statements, but they do have a very far-fetched claim on things. So which brings me to, not me, but a lot of us to question, is Gati Shakti truly going to improve a situation that's beyond our control at this point? So yeah, that's something I wanted to bring. Thank you so much.
That's true. Pooja, do you know any solution for that question? So let me hear from your perspective. So now just imagine I'm recruiting you from the government agency. You're working as an advising board. So what would be your solution?
I think I've always been a strong supporter of decentralization, even when it comes to aspects of budget. So instead of making this a center versus state debate, if we give districts and other local governments the authority and autonomy to plan for themselves, to handle money themselves without having to go through this series of uh, going towards a higher authority, I feel implementation of a scheme like Gati Shakti, which is beautiful on theory and paper, will actually come and sort of yield us that result.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pooja. Wonderful. Excellent. So we had next, Daksh says, increased burden on government deficit. Correct.
Of course.
Good. So then we have Nana who says, many schemes to be followed up, people. Okay. Yes, there are many schemes. Exactly, Nana. There are many schemes which is overburdened in our governance, and whereas people are not there actually to check whether such scheme is actually implemented. So that is also biggest loophole. Very good, Nana. Deficit. Okay. Samyukta says, even though it would increase the employment, the Gati Shakti has also properly the discussing unemployment. Okay, this is
unemployment.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that's a beautiful point. So now I will tell up the few demerits which majority of you guys have focused on, just putting a little more light upon it. So there is going to be about, as you know, this is a central sector scheme. Here, these schemes require collaboration with the state government. That means that if I am the ruling party, which says BJP, and in case if this scheme needs to be very well functioning in West Bengal, will Mamata Banerjee allow me to do it? No, she will chase me out, right? So there is always a controversial thing between the central party and the state party, whichever is ruling. In case if it is again, they wouldn't be agreeing for it. That's the reason in our country, there are many schemes which are still pending. There are many schemes which is still not functioning. This is the main reason. So there is conflict between the center and the state majority of the times. Kerala, majority of the schemes was not allowed to be implemented because of that. Okay, so this also needs to be reconsidered. One of the biggest demerit which we are facing in our country. So now, next, this one.
Okay, so I guess we all know that from 2 years, past 2-3 years have been really difficult from you, me, and every human being. Okay, right. So it has been difficult for government as well financially. So with the pandemic and its associated challenges, the state government don't have enough finances to invest in such a large amount. So I guess this will be one of the major demerit of this project as well.
Okay, good. Wonderful. So, Jalaj, next, the upcoming point which I want you guys should focus about insolvency and bankruptcy. Why? Because during the COVID-19 time, as Jalaj just pointed out, our entire economy is actually decreasing day by day. Actually, as per the report of MNI, which says that our economy is basically depleting one by one stage. So, in case if you do huge amount of investment at this particular stage, government can also lead to insolvency and bankruptcy. So, which may lead us to get investment from other countries, and still that can also lead to a problem.
Okay, so I guess the plan does not address a few key infrastructure challenges. See, in India, we start many projects, but the main reason I guess that projects are not fitted well are land acquisition. Land acquisition is one of the biggest obstacle in development of India. Many developmental projects get delayed due to land acquisition issues, right? Further, these delays add up to cost of many projects, making them less efficient and more costly for project development. These are the other issues, such as you can say violation of environmental norms. So environmental NGOs will also come up in case we are in case we are disturbing some environmental things. So I guess these 2 points will also add up.
Wonderful. So guys, anyone from Bangalore? People who are from Bangalore, could you please raise your hands? Okay, Samyukta. Okay, only one from Bangalore? Okay,
No,
how many of you guys have visited
that?
Bangalore? Even that, those people can also raise your hands. How many of you guys have visited Bangalore? Samyukta. You can even, Pooja, fine.
Or currently studying at Bangalore.
Okay, Samyukta, Pooja, great. And then Varna, Annette, Daksh. Okay, wonderful. See, guys, Jala just pointed out the point about land acquisition. Okay, land acquisition. Could you tell me any one project, which you have heard in the name of land acquisition was still delayed? Any one name of the project? Have you guys heard about it?
Yeah, it's quite famous for Bangalore.
They planned to implement it successfully by 2021 because in the name of land acquisition, it's still taking time for implementation. They're telling that plan will be executed only by 2025. Any idea?
You can unmute yourself if someone knows.
Unmute yourself. PLB traveling. Okay, just give a small hint.
Okay, is it related to the metro?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Pooja. Thank you, Pooja and Nikita. It's correct. It's regarding the metro. So metro was actually planned to be successfully implemented by 2021. But the main problem why it's still delayed, it's because of land acquisition problem. And many environmentalists, there used to be still protests, going up in different stages in Bangalore regarding stopping of the metro construction, because as per you guys have heard about eminent doctrine. Okay, what this eminent doctrine says that if I am the government, if I am taking up your property, as per the market value of that land, I'm supposed to pay back. So if I'm taking Pooja's property now for constructing metro, I'm supposed to give her the market value. If it's 7.5 crore, I'm supposed to pay that amount to her, only then I'm supposed to acquire it. But still government is not paying it. So as such, there is huge amount of agony and anger by the citizens for not effectively implementing it. So just imagine if Gati Shakti is implemented, so how much land acquisition problem will be arising in our country. And the next important, biggest demerit is about private. A private investment is not actually open in the Gati Shakti master plan. Government is not willing to collaborate with the private. It is still going against our economy. We are following mixed economy. We are not a socialistic economy, right? We're not following the principles of China. We're not following the principles of Russia. We're following the principles of mixed economy. That means both private and government should work together. At this present stage, during COVID-19 time, our entire economy is like lost out. So at this stage, we want the hands with whom? We want the hand with private sector. As such, the government is not willing to do it, but still we have to make sure that government take up such initiatives to overcome this plan. Yes, Daksh, wonderful. National monetization pipeline. National monetization pipeline is also there. It is good. But in this plan also, if government is trying to introduce, it is going to be a huge amount of investment because we're not focusing on 1 or 2 states. We're focusing on all India level. So as such, the critics and research people have said that, if the government is trying to collaborate with private, this is going to be a very good successful event. Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Okay, so as we know that economic survey for 2020-2021 mentioned clearly that India needs rupees 4.5 lakh crores of investment per year from private sector to boost NIP sectors. So government has to address the issues associated with the low credit offtake as the problem mentioned by Pavan for successful private investments. Another solution could be to incorporate digital features in all spheres. This can be done by adding optical fibers along the railway lines and gas pipelines. India also needs to digitalize solution for aggregation of demand and supply, which can be done by bringing open network and open protocols under the Gati Shakti initiative. And I guess one of the most important thing on which we should work on is to improve performance of roads. India needs to improve performance of road for smooth supply of goods. Roads should be made smart with automatic monitoring of traffic, drone-based support, and including drone-based monitoring of assets. I guess this. Pavan?
Yeah, sure. So this coming up, this now we focus on the demerits. Now we're focusing on the solution. So two of the solution which
Solutions.
Jalat said now. So guys, it's very important that when we look into any policy scheme or anything, one of the training session which I was telling to the MC, it is not just good to criticize the government for anything which they have not done. So it's very important that we find out the solutions and then propagate through different ways. For example, there is still policies which we can draft and we can suggest to the government for changing up certain kind of aspect. For example, there are different policies which is introduced by the government. There would be loopholes. So there comes the citizens participation. Okay, citizens participation where we can produce our solutions. It could be from students' domain. It could be from teachers' domain. We produce the solutions. As such, the government can incorporate the solutions and then they can uh, overcome the problem of unintended consequences. So first is about public and the government should work together. I mean, like the private and the government should work together, should collaborate together to overcome this problem. This is the first important to overcome majority of the challenges. Second is about land acquisition. See, for land acquisition, which I already explained, putting little more light, I feel that, as per my suggestion is that little more committees and bodies should be set up by the government. We have different committees, right? Who's in charge of, for example, calculating the census, similar way, different aspects. So I feel that there should be different committees set up by the central and the state government to focus and then make sure that when any land is taken, these people are being provided with justice and they should not be flawed out. And that's kind of accountability should be provided. Even though we have legal system, but still, it is very important that government take up this kind of initiative. And third important thing is the state government should not keep any kind of chaotic mindset that I am from Congress and they are from BJP, so we should not have collaborative way. That kind of mindset should be overcome. So they have to have this mindset, okay, they are doing it for community development. Let's have a collaborative way. As it is centrally sponsored scheme, that means that 60% sometimes government will pay, remaining 40% even state government should pay. Only then there could be a collaborative way for effectively implementing it. So even we require such kind of participation. Okay, this is one of the most important point. I think Daksh wanted to comment something. Daksh, would you like to tell any comments or
Blockchain technology for data collection. Nice.
yes, Daksh, would you like you had raised your hands. If you want, you can unmute or you had put up your message in the chat box. Yeah, he had put his message in the chat box. So blockchain technology for data collection. Yeah, that's a good thing. Blockchain technology can also. Daksh, would you like to tell something about blockchain technology?
Yeah, what I feel is in India, like there is a major problem of collecting the records, and there is a time lag between record collection and analyzing those records. So what we can have a digital tech, like DDL, the ledger technology, which is just uh, another name for blockchain. So if that has been implemented, we'll have a more transparent data, and yeah, it would be available in the public domain too. So I've and the government is currently working with some of the startups to work on blockchain technology for this thing, for I guess Ministry of Welfare, I guess. So yeah.
Oh, wonderful. That's a very good point, which Daksh just pointed out, blockchain technology. That's excellent. Yes, Sakshi will be taking up your point because that's very important. Uh,
Can I
well,
can I
yes,
add? Can I have
Yeah.
something else add to Daksh's point, whatever he said? Like
yes, Sakshi.
blockchain is a very good example, and it should be introduced. But don't you think that while we are introducing policies or certain schemes, we need to consider the economy and the demography, geography of the nation? Already, we are spending so much. Blockchain will require a huge allocation of funds because blockchain mining again requires a lot of resources, electricity, and already we are developing. So it's a good stage, but then again, is it feasible here at this part? This is also important to understand while we are proposing solutions.
Wonderful. Daksh, would you like to answer that question?
Yeah, the makers of the blockchain technology, specifically Ethereum, because I believe like Ethereum is the best blockchain technology. So like currently they are launching Ethereum 3.0. So the problems that you mentioned, like Ethereum 3. Like environmental impacts, high cost of technology, high transaction fee. So Ethereum 3.0, which is like in the process of being launching, I guess that problem would solve that will solve your problem. Yeah.
But I'm really sorry, I'm taking a lot
Yeah,
of
no,
time.
no,
But
no. It's the floor
yeah,
is
No,
open.
no,
yeah, but mining nodes for the blockchain, it requires like I said, it requires a lot of electricity. Probably you must be aware that Elon Musk, few days back, he just sent a lot of bitcoins. One of the reasons was that because the mining was done in African nations and the electricity was generated from the fossil fuels. Again, in India, do you think we'll be able to generate so much of electricity to run such gigabytes of computers and CPUs through solar panels, through solar electricity? So again, that has environmental issues and all. That's
Sakshi,
perfectly
that's what
a
I said.
different debate. But then yes, we need to consider that also.
Like Bitcoin is basically based on like a huge amount of power, but Ethereum works on ether gas. Okay, so we have ether gas over there, and the Ethereum 3.0 version, which the Ethereum Foundation is launching, is in process of launching. It's solving those problems, and that's why Elon Musk is currently buying Ethereum, because he knows that Ethereum 3.0 doesn't harm the environment as much as Bitcoin and Dogecoin and other Candola and other kind of coin does. That's the thing. That's why I just mentioned Ethereum 3.0.
And that's one more thing. So the people who do not know what is Ethereum 3.0, could
Mm.
you just please tell something
Okay,
about it?
so
Because it
like
just sounds massive.
Ethereum, first of all, Ethereum is not a, it's not a coin. Okay, Ethereum is a blockchain platform. It, like anyone can make a, it's his or her own app or any website powered by powered by Ethereum. Okay, so it's just like in a simple way, what we can say, it's just like Google, where you can build your own website. So it's Ethereum is a blockchain network where you can build your own networks, your own apps, decentralized basically. Okay, so that's the thing about it.
Okay, I have a question. What do you think? India should use Ethereum 3.0 or build its own tailor-made platform, a blockchain platform? What are
That
your
would take
thoughts
it,
about
that
it?
depends on startup. If the startup is working on
No,
building a
government can also work on R&D. Huh? Like if government wants blockchain to work in its central system, then they
like,
can put an R&D team.
I think the best thing would be to engage in the public-private partnership, because
Mm-hmm.
government should focus on welfare, not on developing something. Like government should
Yeah.
incentivize those people, build some technology, will provide you with sufficient amount of money. That's what been happening in rest of the world. Like there is a strategic partnership between private sector and the public sector. So government and government is doing such things recently. So yeah, it should make or depends on them what they want.
Okay, wonderful. That's a very good point, Daksh. Okay, so guys, you can even comment. Okay, so it'll be really great. So Daksh bought his points, Samyukta bought his points. It's great. And one more thing: any policy, any scheme has its own advantages and loopholes. There is no policy in this planet Earth which has just merits. Okay, so let this be very clear. And there are so much loopholes in any scheme or this one. So if you guys would like to comment, that would also be great. So before that, Daksh, Jalaj would like to conclude few important points, and then we can open up the floor for it.
Okay. So in conclusion, we can say that the Gati Shakti will boost economic growth, attract foreign investment, enhance the country's global competitiveness, as someone mentioned, and thereby enabling smooth transportation of goods, people, and services, and creating employment opportunities. So thus, I guess PM Gati Shakti will help India to realize its dream of becoming business capital. And I think this is going to happen in next 5 to 10 years. So as a student, as we are here, many of us are students here, this is best time to invest in sectors which are related to this plan or are related to development. For example, road building, if there are some private road building companies, space exploration private companies, these are best because they will boost due to this plan in upcoming 5 to 10 years. So I would like to point it out that vyolvepaisa will help you in doing so. And in case you have any queries related to this, you can DM us in any of our social media platform. Thank you, everyone, and especially Christ University. And now you all can have ask questions and point out any points if you want to.
Yeah. So now it's open up floor. You can comment something and you can give up your views, or you feel something is very important to be highlighted. You can even tell about that. The floor
I
is
have a
open.
question.
Yeah, Samyukta.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to know like your opinion about how feasible this sounds because as Pooja said, it sounds too overambitious to me. Like
Hmm.
like as you said, they're planning to expand the road like by 2 lakh or something you said. It just seems like a little too overambitious to me to be achieved by 2024-25. So how do you think do you think it's actually feasible, and do you think like investing in these sectors right now, could it like, have a chance for a loss instead of a profit at that time?
Okay, Samyukta, that's a good question. So answering it from a diplomatic perspective, what I can tell you is that, okay, first of all, like if you look in the positive side, it can generate employment because our economy is completely devastating point by point. I think employment could be a benefit, but the biggest loophole is at this present stage, is it required for government to spend it? As Samyukta pointed out, as Pooja pointed out, I don't feel though at this present time, we are supposed to focus on infrastructure, other thing. We need to focus more on the health, rediscovering us, like health sector. Huge amount of investment is required. Presently, I don't think so it's required. But future, however, once COVID is recovering, however, once we are been progressing over a period of time, it can surely take up a very important role. Samyukta, does it answer to your question in a diplomatic?
Thanks.
Okay, people are thinking. We'll just give one more minute.
Okay,
Guys,
so let me ask a question. What? Only I will tell. Okay, so I have a question. Like, does this workshop really benefited you all, and how? Anyone would like to answer? Like, of course, there's no point of taking a workshop if it's not benefiting anyone. So, any
Can I
feedbacks
go?
or anything?
yeah, sure, Samyukta. It's open.
So according to me, it was extremely beneficial. So before this session, I didn't even know that there's something called Gati Shakti that was going on. I'm actually almost zero when it comes to GK and stuff like that. So I'm really
Oh, we
bad
didn't feel it, yeah. Actually, we felt that you're really brilliant, to be honest.
So when you guys were explaining this, it's not just, it's very interesting, it's very fascinating. Also, it opens up, it really broadened my knowledge about like the upcoming events that the country has planned and how they're going about with it, and like how how where their priorities lie right now, and what they are focusing on. It really helped a lot in getting to know such things, and it really helped increase my GK. So thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Samita. We are really grateful for having you. It's good that you said that you not know about current affairs, but your way of expression was really amazing. But the way of analytical aspect, excellent. And guys, any one of you would like to comment, not just about this one. Like, could you tell me about? Do you think this plan can play a very important role? Varna is telling something. Yes, me to the way I judge the session is based. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, thank you so much, Varna. Thank you, really grateful. So, guys, any of you would like to put any points? Do you think this scheme can help our country? Pooja, Disha, Nayana?
Yeah, I
Varna?
would just like to add up, like in the beginning, like you just said few minutes back, that I believe that health should be focused. I absolutely agree with that. But I think infrastructure is also something that it's a good move that the government has taken, because see, I don't remember the exact figures, but every dollar spent on infrastructure has a huge multiplier effect. Not only generates employment, but a lot of it even increases the economic growth of the country. And as the title of the webinar is, that it's going to affect the financial system also, because a lot of lending, borrowing, everything is going to take place. So because of this move, though it is focused on infrastructure, but a lot of sectors are going to grow. And yeah, we're going to move towards that aim of $5 trillion economy by 2025.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, right. That's very good point. Very good. Excellent. Yeah, Samita, that's a good point. Would just analyzed this like good. An economical perception overall would be.
I'm Sakshi, not Samyukta.
Okay, hi Sakshi. Yeah, Sakshi, what point? Very good. Thank you all for joining. Thank you guys, and
Everyone.
thank you for giving this wonderful
Thank you,
opportunity.
guys. Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.